or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hello. Hey there, family. Welcome to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Today is Thursday, May 25th. I am your host, Carol Riddick, and you know that I'm joined by the incomparable Miss Kayla J, who always makes sure that things run smoothly for us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. How's it going? You know, I like for you to check in. You know, I like to know how life is treating you, how your day is going thus far, how your week is going thus far. Here we are coming upon the end of the week. You know, I like to know what's going on. What is going on with you? So family, if you're on our socials, send me a hello. Let me know that you're out there and you're ready to join the conversation. And you know, family members who are listening but are not watching, we feel your love. We truly do. We always do. And don't think I forgot about you, family. Those of you whose lights are shining dimly today, you already know that I'm sending you extra love and hugs today. As always. Nasir, hey there. It is so good to know that you are there. Good evening to you as well. Good evening. So, you know, I like to say that, I say it because I mean it. I believe everybody should be celebrated. So if today is your birthday, then happy birthday to you. And on that note, you family, listen, yesterday, May 24th, was the 79th birthday of the Queen herself, Miss Patti LaBelle. Now, you know, Deanna Williams and I, we mentioned it, but we kind of briefly talked about it because we were celebrating the life and legacy of another queen. But I did not express clearly enough just how much I love and adore Patti LaBelle. I love her. I adore her. And if you'd like to send her a birthday wish and greeting and show her some love, feel free to do so because I'm going to make sure she gets every single message. You can email it to me. You can send it to me on Facebook. You can send it any way you want. You can call us if you want to. And I will make sure she knows that she has love from the WURD family. Okay. So, you know, I was telling you the other day, I want to talk with you. The other day, we had a great conversation about some topics, but there were some things that I saw, and I thought, let's have some words about it. Let me see what you're thinking and how you feel about some of the things I've read. The first of which is that it has been 3 years since George Floyd's death. You know, I didn't realize it has been 3 years already. I don't know. When I read it today, it just stung for a minute because number one, I didn't realize it had been 3 years. And number two, it made me think, you know, what kind of changes have taken place since then? So I'm curious to know from you, do you feel that there has been a change for the better? Or have things stayed the same? Or do you feel like they've gotten worse? I'm curious to know. What are you thinking? What do you think? How do you feel? Let me know. You can call at 215-634-8065, or you can call toll free at 1-866-361-0900. Brother Nasir, since we have you on social media, I know that you are there. What do you think about that? Do you think there has been any change, positive, good, bad, or indifferent? What do you think? How are you feeling about it? I'm just curious to know. And while I wait for you to think about that and get back to me, there's another thing that I want to put in your mental. Family. I don't know if this is happening with you, but I'm getting these little scam emails. I received this scam email from the Geek Squad. Now, I'm telling you about this just in the event you are receiving emails yourself about different things, possibly not about the Geek Squad, but just to be on alert. So I received this email. The first thing I did was check the address to see from, where it came, the extension. And it was a Gmail address. So that was the first flag, okay, that it came from a Gmail address. But I said, let me just see how far they're going to go with this. They told me that my account would be charged $349. So I said, let me call. When I called, the gentleman started asking me about my computer and all kinds of stuff that just didn't matter and should not have mattered if it was a legitimate bill. So I am saying to you, be careful, be careful, be careful. There are so many email scams out. There's so many scams out here, period. But there's so many email scams out here, particularly. And if we're not on top of it, they'll do all kinds of things, quite honestly. So, how you doing? I want to know. Y'all got to tell me. Y'all got to tell me how you doing today on Thursday. It's been a rough week, right? It's been a full week. Well, guess what? We have a guest tonight who's going to talk with us about some things. She is no stranger to the show. She is a friend of the word family. And we're going to talk tonight about social media. Okay, and how it affects all of us, the adults, the children, all kinds of things. I know there are a lot of us on our devices. We spend a lot of time checking Instagram. Look, I was about to say Snapchat. I don't even know if anybody's on Snapchat nowadays, but I know TikTok is a big one. So we spend so much time checking social media. We're going to talk about that. But before we do, I'm going to go to our phones and see what you're thinking. I believe one of our family members is on the line. Hello, are you still there?
Yes, I am. And
Ron, is that you?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Ron.
Let me say this to Patti LaBelle. Somewhere over the rainbow. Or you sung it. I remember me and you around. I'm a little older than you, Patty, but I remember this though. Somewhere over the rainbow, you sung the uptown, come up on West Philadelphia. But I translated that to somewhere in Philadelphia. You landed and you said, dreams really do come true. And Patty, this is dedicated to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, beloved Patty. Happy birthday to you. From WRD, 20 years. Oh, Patty, you have more than 20 years of them giving these songs of inspiration. And I was just glad they mentioned your name yesterday. With that sad situation. But thank you for the music you have given. But Cal, I wanted to talk about this that's in the news. I've been talking about it for a couple of days now, about a week now. With this deficit that's coming, Cal, it doesn't look very good. I say to people, maybe you want to stock up on a little bit of food. We never know what's going to happen. Some water, some canned goods, because if they make this cutback on this deficit, it may not happen right away. But it's good to be prepared for what's yet to come. And I think about Mr. George Floyd and all those persons like that. And I just hope that they will pass that bill. That's another thing, the George Floyd a bill. And I'm glad that you're bringing that up and many other things. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, While we're here on this earth, we can make a difference. That's why we must continue to participate. Thank you, Cal. Thank you, WRD. 20 years. Hey, I just want to say one thing. The other day, Sunday, or at the, let me slow down. At Sunday, we was on TV. Mr. Frank and them was there, Toddy Branch and all of them. And I want to thank him for all the work that Frank have done through the years and many others, working with our youth over there. So thank you very much. Help is coming from the four corners of Philadelphia in this Delaware Valley. We can make a difference. Let us continue to do this. That's purpose in life. Thank you very much, Cal, and may all y'all be blessed. Most of all, the gift, if it is your birthday, may the Almighty God give you the gift of health and strength, where you can continue to do for your family, and at the same time, as Cal always said, and do something nice for someone else as we work to make our city and country better. Thank you very much, Cal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ron. And Ron is right. The point that he made about being prepared, because if this, with everything that they're doing with the economy, if it goes the way they're planning for it to go, it is going to get a whole lot worse for us. Thank you again, Ron, for that contribution to our conversation. I believe another one of our family members is on the phone line. Are you still there?
Yes. Hi, it's Lola.
Hi, Miss Lola. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for being here and taking my call. I just want to say you're a very patient woman. I'll just leave it at that. Yes?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Yes, yes. Because I listen, but sometimes I'm doing work or I'm traveling for work and I'm listening, but you are very patient. I
Thank
just want
you.
to say that, yes, that no, I do not think that it has changed, getting back to the question that you asked, because I think what has happened is, like when George Floyd was murdered, he was murdered on live TV, on a video, and was shown across the world. Actually across the world. People were protesting across the world, Europe, Paris, Switzerland, everywhere, in this country, out of this country. And all of these diversity inclusion programs were started, and companies said they're going to do this and they're going to do that, and they're going to, try to stop racism in the jobs, and the police department is supposed to be doing better. That happened for as long as they felt people were watching them. And then all of these diversity programs across these corporate companies, and a lot of the companies have stopped. The money has stopped. With the Black Lives Matter, they had a big thing with them misappropriating money, which then made the whole movement kind of look bad. There was no one watching over what was going on, Carol, and no one really keeping it up. Like when Black Lives Matter kept saying we don't have a leader, but when you don't have a leader, then everything's going to fall apart. That's why the money wasn't. You have to have some type of checks and balances where there is a treasurer, a president, a CEO, right? And they didn't have any of that. And so then, actually, if you looked at it, Carol, a lot of the people from there they were just grassroots organizers who didn't have the background. I'm not saying they wanted to do ill will, but they didn't have the knowledge to really, a lot of money was coming in. We're talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars. And so with that happening, all of these inclusion programs are gone. A lot of them, they didn't keep up with the money that they said they were going to put into Black areas. They gave a little bit to Black businesses, and then they haven't kept up with that. And then the police, because of the apathy and the defund the police and stuff that came out, the police pulled back on their policing. What we need in this country is a medium, a compromise where Black people don't want to be brutalized, but we don't want to be killed either. And so it's almost like it's either give and take with Black people. Either you let us brutalize you or we're not going to protect you. But our taxpayer money pays for police's salaries. So why can't we be treated just like any other race? We don't see white people brutalized like this, or Latinos and Asians and Russians and stuff like that. You might have a case here or there, but Black people are the main ones. Tyree Nichols was murdered. And remember when George Floyd trial was going on? That boy, I can't think of his name, was murdered because he had a one of those air fresheners in the window. Do you remember that? And she said she grabbed her. She thought it was a taser, and she grabbed the gun. So no, it hasn't gotten better. They were still killing people throughout George Floyd's trial, and it's continuing on throughout the country. Why can't the police, if they're listening or whoever, why don't you just give us the same respect that you give any other race? We don't want to be brutalized, but we don't want to be killed and harmed in our own communities as well. We deserve that. We deserve to be treated equally. And it's almost like, Carol, they're saying, well, if you don't let us aggressively police you, then we're going to fall back. And that's what we see what has happened in Philadelphia and a lot of these states across the country where the crime is rampant. They have pulled back because of the apathy of what happened. So no, I don't see it going well. And I see the quality of life. These quality of life issues are really harming Black people. Like they were talking earlier about the noise and the cars and stuff. People don't want to live like that, Carol. People want to be able to live in peace. Life is so short. People want to be able to travel, have a good life, come home, sit on the porch, talk to your relatives, talk to your family, and look at the sunset. But instead, people are being shot, killed, and all of this. You can't. The radios are so loud. Nobody wants to hear that. And the quality of life with the trash and stuff. So I think we are in a really a moment where with this new mayor and stuff that comes in, new leadership is needed. And I hope she really does. And whoever the cabinet is takes the right direction in telling the police, don't brutalize Black people, but you still have to do your job.
Agreed. Oh, Miss Lola, I could not have said any of that better. I really could not have. I happen to believe and feel the same way that you do. Everything that you just said. And that was why I said, when I saw the headline, it stung for a moment because I feel like we were at the height. Everybody, we were all at the height of emotion. And I was involved in several different initiatives, all of which are now gone. So I agree with you wholeheartedly, Miss Lola. Thank you so much for calling in and for sharing your contribution to this discussion. I believe we have another family member on the line waiting to talk with us. Are you still there as well?
Yeah, this is Maurice from Southwest.
Hi, Maurice. How are you?
Look, a question I always wanted to ask you. Back in the late 80s, a friend of mine used to say your name all the time, and I was just wondering. I just want to get this out my system.
Okay.
His name was Carl, and he always used to say Carol Riddick, Carol Riddick. And I just wonder, is this the same Carol Riddick? Do you have a cousin or anybody named Carl?
Well, I had a neighbor, two actually, named Carl. Do you have a last name for Carl, or should we not share that online?
I can't think of it because it was early. It's a while ago. I'm 62 now. He was like my young fella I used to hang out with. He was showing me the ropes, and he used to. I'm just gonna get this quick. He lived off of like 50th and Baltimore area. He had an apartment around there. But I'll leave that alone. It's just your name was always said to me. I said, "Can this be the same Carol Riddick?" Because he said she's a great singer and everything.
Well, God bless him for that. I thank him for that. But right now, it's escaping me. I'm sorry. I'm still caught up in the.
We let it go. We let it go. But I want to bring up any on your subject. Anytime things have not changed, because anytime you have Black officers, after all this doesn't happen, that will beat another Black man to death, and they know all about the George Floyd, them being fellow cops. And they would actually lower themselves to that level and then claim innocent it's just mind-boggling when you see these things happen. It's
hurtful.
You would think that guys, police officers everywhere, when they come to a scene, especially when it involves Black men, they would try to de-escalate before they rush in and say, wait a minute, after this big incident, we already got people hating on us. Let's slow this thing down. But by me being former law enforcement, I don't see it. And I still say here in Philadelphia, instead of them saying that they are hundreds of policemen short, they would go on a campaign to try to get neighborhood men that know the community, black or white, to be on the force to make sure that stuff like this never happens again. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you so much for your contribution to this discussion. I appreciate your responses so much, and I'm in agreement. We have such a long way to go, and quite honestly, I noticed there's so much that goes on with law enforcement. There's a lot. What's the word that I'm looking for? There's a lot of negativity in our law enforcement. With our police officers, there's a lot of racism in the police in these districts as well. So we've got a lot to work on. I believe. Oh, actually, let me look at the time. You see what happens, family? I began talking and I get carried away, and I'm so emotional about these topics, especially and particularly about this present one. But if you've just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We're going to take a short break, but stay with us, family, because we will be right back.
In Philadelphia, everyone is reading the One Book, One Philadelphia featured selection, Interior Chinatown by Charles Yu, a touching, funny book about how cultural representation, family histories, and class shape us. Youth companion books include American-Born Chinese by Jean Lumen Yang and Drawn Together by Min Lei and Dan Santat. One Book features 9 weeks of programming through June 22nd, sponsored by Pico. Visit freelibrary.org/onebook for the full calendar of events.
Hello?
Man, where are you? I thought you were coming.
I can't. I'm in bed with the flu.
The flu? Whoa. Grandma's about to crowd surf. Man, I'll call you back.
Don't get stuck at home with the flu. A flu shot is safe, effective, and you can get it at the same time as your COVID-19 vaccine. A flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu and its potentially serious complications. Don't get flu FOMO. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
Tune in every Saturday at 4 p.m. for the Did You Know Show with host Bryant Green, right here on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM.
Founders Day is just around the corner, and it's time to nominate a person or a group for the 3rd Annual Community Impact Award. Nominees should be a person or a group in business, health and wellness, creative and performing arts, and community engagement who works tirelessly to strengthen and uplift our community. You can also nominate a word host or staff member. The deadline for nominations is June 9th. Please visit our website at wordradio.com. Scroll to the latest news section and click on the post about making a nomination for Word's Community Impact Award. The finalists will be announced on Friday, June 30th, and the recipients will receive their awards during the Founders Day celebration on August 18th. So, save the date and make a nomination today. You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. I posed a question earlier, and I so appreciate your responses. It's just got me thinking more and more about everything that we're dealing with and where we're headed, quite honestly. I believe we have one more family member on our phone lines, if I'm not mistaken. Are you still there by any chance?
I'm still here, Carol. Good to talk with you.
Always. Is this Miss Audrey?
Yes, I'm Audrey.
Hi, thank you.
And on the word of family, I want to first reach out to George Floyd's family. We know that the family of George Floyd, that he was much more meaningful as a living, breathing person And we know that our souls are not resting either because of his death. And my reason for calling Carol, I've come across information, and the information I do believe has relevancy to a lot that goes on and a lot that we still have to keep our eyes and ears open to. The name of the company is Future Tel, that's Future, F-U-T-U-R-E, Tel, T-E-L, Systems Supply. They provide smoke screens. The smoke screens is vapor. The vapor lasts for 40 minutes. I would not want to be in any building at any time or walking anywhere in the street or be in anyone's residence where vapor is given off and it's going to keep for whatever is going on. It's supposed to have been developed to stop a protective safeguard to deter stealing, etc. Disturbing about that is that a company named Boots in 2016, which is located in the United Kingdom, the employees it's a pharmaceutical. The employees in 2016 complained and became very concerned. The pharmaceutical had prescribed something for the eyes, EYES, wherein the customer purchased it unknowingly and was blinded thereafter. Oh. Now, the products from Future Tel System Supply, the fact that they also are selling that product to retail places, no, that smoke screen makes me, I have every reason to be suspicious. See, CNN reported when they talked about the two that escaped from the prison, giving honor and respect to another Floyd, whom was a part of the security at one of our detention centers, and he was killed. And the fact that CNN of Current this week had, in fact, I want to say, left an innuendo that they didn't have all the details regarding how it is that those two escaped. My thought is that what if they had given a drill and the guards didn't even know that, this is a drill, and in fact, they let loose some vapor. If, in fact, that blinded them, we who live in this community needs to know when there's any shipment coming in, and we food-wise or pharmaceutical-wise, or in as well, if in fact there are some type of drill in facilities wherein we know we smell something, but there's been no fire.
Miss Audrey, I am processing as you're saying this chemical, this company, Future Tel System
Supply, yeah.
And this vapor is being released here in the United States?
It's being sold. It's being sold. And now, so I don't know, as they say, there are entities that are partnerships or what have you. So I don't know if we have any food chains or, whether they think that because it's going to wherever it's going to, that it is of no relevancy or importance, it's not affecting us. No. Look at the amount of trains and what have you where there's been these accidents.
Agreed.
Look at the fact that, we step outdoors and in fact, I'll say when I'm on board the train, the fact that there's not enough ventilation on the train itself. The last thing I need is for it to be that some vapor went off. My family is called and concerned because I generally let somebody know when it is that I'm moving out and about. And my telephone has this dark area where they don't have the information. So what all is a smoke screen in this case? And regarding what happened to you with a scam, well, I'm not going to name what it was, but when I saw it come mail carrier, where they're telling me, Bill said, wait a minute. When you first sent this notice via my telephone, you said it was a newsletter. Well, they did, in fact, provide an email address, so I let them know. You said free. You did not say anywhere in that language, after 60 days, 7 days, or what have you, then it will cost me. But they're still sending that information to me. So Is that going to be an accrued amount that I will continue to owe? Well, I don't know what else I need to do other than to send it certified mail. Is the only other thing I can think to do. But I do know that it didn't start out as it would be an owing matter. So people, be aware of something like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know darn well you're not supposed to be paying for something.
They're just agreed. There's so many scams going on nowadays. So many email scams. We're receiving things via text, like you said. There's just so much going on. And as it pertains to all of these chemicals, Miss Audrey, when I tell you this, you know what you made me think of when you were talking about the trains, the train accident that happened most recently in Ohio. Now, when they were showing us, it went, first of all, they reported it, and then there was nothing else said about it. But they said on the day that they reported it, there were so many chemicals in the water, they were saying.
That's right.
And then they stopped talking about it. Well, Ohio is right up the road. It's right up the road. And I kept saying, okay, so is somebody going to give us an update? Now, family, I know I'm mixing apples with oranges, but to your point, Miss Audrey, it made me think of that when we were talking about these train accidents and these chemicals being released into the air. That one particular was one that really had me, because, I travel a lot, and I had to go to Ohio during that time. I was terrified. I refused to drink anything that wasn't any water that wasn't bottled. It was just a mess because there was so little information. And like you said, everything is filtered nowadays. All the information that we do receive is filtered, or it's very vague when details are shared. But the stuff that they do share with us, it's enough to scare you. It's enough to do so. I can't thank you enough for calling.
Thank you.
And sharing your opinion. Thank you so much, Miss Audrey. Family, we're talking about a lot of things right now. We're talking about the 3-year anniversary of the murder of George Floyd. We're talking about these scams, the email, text, all kinds of scams that are taking place now in the world. I shared that I received an email telling me that I owed, or that I would be charged, that $349.99 would be debited from my account, which was a scam. It was a scam. But also I was sharing too that yesterday, not only did we hear of the passing of the queen of rock and roll, our beloved Tina Turner, but it was the birthday of the queen herself, Patti LaBelle. It was her 79th birthday. And if you did not know, I'm letting you know that we're sending her love. And I'm going to make sure she gets each and every message that is shared today, because that's my boop. I love her. She knows I love her. She knows I love her. But I want to let her know that the Word family loves her as well. So if you want to share your love for her, let me know, and I'll make sure she gets the message. I want to take a moment to go to our socials, because I did let you know that we do have a guest who's going to talk with us about social media tonight and the effects on all of us. But Nasir shares that he watches his 3-year-old grandson, and he has to keep up with what he's watching on his iPad. That is so true. On social and social media is trying to influence our youth at all ages. So he writes he is on top of whatever he's watching. I cannot tell you how true a statement. There's not a truer statement when I tell you, Nasir, the stuff that I see for our babies. Well, you all know that I also work with our babies. And when I see the stuff that they'll come and show me, and they're so innocent because they don't know. They don't know better. They know that, there's something that was on their that came up on their computer or on their iPad or on their tablet or what have you. And they think it's okay. And a lot of the stuff that is being shared with our babies is not okay. I want to continue on our socials. Lily, hi, Miss Lily. She writes, good evening, Sister Carol, Kayla J, guest, and Word family and friends. And she says, thank you for the beautiful tribute to the queen of rock and roll. Thank you so much. I'm so glad. It felt so good to celebrate the queen of rock and roll, to celebrate Miss Tina Turner. It was so important to me that we concentrate on the strength of the woman that she is. We concentrate on everything positive about her and her life, because we know she was a mother, she was a wife, She was a business person. She was a celebrity, and she was such a public figure, but the way she lived her life was on her terms, which I think was so beautiful about her life and her legacy. Family, if you've just joined us, you are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. If you would like to comment on any of the subject matter that we shared thus far, please feel free to do so. You can do so in our socials, or you can do so by calling us at 215 634 8065, or you can call us toll free at 1-866 361 0900. At this time, though, what I'd like to do is bring to the conversation our guest of tonight, because we've got some other things to discuss as well. We're going to talk about it all. Okay, we're going to talk about everything. So without further ado, family, I would like to join Dr. ZENIDA Driver to the conversation. Hi there, Dr. Z.
Hello. How are you?
I will not complain. Dr. Z, I don't know how much of the subject matter you were able to take in, but we were talking about so much, talking about everything, we were talking about Tina Turner. We were talking about Patti LaBelle. We were talking about these scams that they're trying to, everything that they're trying to take advantage of us with, be it email or text or phone calls or what have you, because I get things on my phone every day, whatever. And we were also talking about the anniversary of George Floyd's death. It was interesting when Miss Lola said that what she stated was that there were so many initiatives that had begun. When I tell you, I signed up for about 3 of them myself, and they all fell off. They all fell off. It was actually discouraging and heartbreaking, because we all had so much energy in the beginning. We were all, it made me feel good how united we all were, because it felt like we were united. I will say that it felt like we were all united with our efforts and initiatives, and then everything just disappeared. It fell off, and in that regard. So I'm hoping that as we move forward, we will regain steam, and that we will make some positive change. I'm hoping that, as I know we've been talking about the banning of chokeholds and no-knock warrants. So I'm hoping that not only that the conversation continues, but there's action that follows. But speaking of headlines, Dr. Z, you and I were talking about another headline. Well, actually, we were talking about the subject matter, but I want to read this headline to our family members, because it was about the conversation you and I had. Superintendent of the School District of Philadelphia, Tony Watlington, unveils a 5-year plan to improve Philadelphia schools. One highlight from the 5-year plan is a year-round extended school day pilot program. And you and I, well, this reads an extended school day, but you and I were talking about the children having school all year round. We were advocates for that.
Give the kids something to do all year.
I think that's a wonderful thing.
I do. I mean, of course, they need their breaks and they need their recess, but ultimately, the more education, the better for our young people, as we talked about.
I think I'll tell you why I'm an advocate. I think the more education, number one, I think the more it helps, because of some of the home life of some of our babies is not as favorable as could be, and it's helpful for a lot of our babies to be in school. Sometimes there are different resources at school that are helpful to their situation, so what they're dealing with at home. And so I think for that reason as well.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, some babies, family, I know this is such a hard truth, but some of our babies don't eat balanced meals, or they don't eat well unless they're at school. So there are so many reasons, so many things that I can think of to advocate for our babies going to school year round. And this was for an extended school day. I misunderstood when I read it first. Wait, it was so funny, because I was thinking that the initiative was to extend the school year, but it's the school day. Now, I don't know about a longer day, though. I don't know.
You don't like that idea?
I don't know about a longer day. I mean, I think because parents work hard as it is. Well, it depends. It depends on how long the day is, because it might just work well with the parent getting off work and then going to pick up the baby.
And it could be that take that place of after school programming. You know, some schools already have that extended day that allows kids to stay, young people to stay in school beyond the school time. So maybe this will give that same type of momentum, and that the children will be able to stay a couple extra hours after school. But I also think not only you talked about the food piece and children being able to just get resources, but I also think that it offers additional structure. Children need structure.
Mm-hmm.
And ideally, in an ideal school setting, they get that structure that maybe they can't get at home because mom, dad, or guardian is constantly working or have other competing responsibilities. So there is some pros and I'm sure some cons, but I can see a lot of pros for that.
That's such a good point, Dr. Z. See, that's why you're here. No. Well, listen, what we're going to do right now, though, family, is take a short break. And when we come back, Dr. Z is going to educate us all a little bit more on what's going on with our babies and social media. So stay with us, because we'll be right back.
Did you hear the word around the community? Check out Health Partners Plan Show live from WURD on 96.1 FM and 900 AM every fourth Sunday of the month from 5 p.m. until 6 p.m. Be sure to tune in to hear more about Health Partners Plan's community events and information to help improve your health and your well-being. To learn more about Health Partners Plans, visit healthpartnersplans.com.
Tune in this Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. for the Islam Today show, with a perspective on moral guidance and Islamic principles and values.
Pollution from trucks is a public health crisis. Diesel-burning trucks belch dangerous levels of pollution, and communities living near ports and along freight corridors breathe especially high levels of this dirty air. But this crisis has a solution. My name is Sasan Sadat, and I work for Earth Justice. I'm working to clean up our air quality, particularly for communities that bear the burden of diesel pollution. For the sake of our lungs, our health, and our climate, the future of trucking in this country has got to be zero emissions. Until then, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor. Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Visit managerbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
The Word Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting wordradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on Word Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax-Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the Word Radio newsletter.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That's WURDradio.com. We are joined by none other than Dr. ZENIDA Driver, and she's here to talk with us about social media. Now, don't think that we can't talk about the other topics that we started talking about earlier, because I think it's important to continue the discussion on all of that, quite honestly. I want to be clear about that. But I also want to share some comments from our socials. Raphael, hi there. He writes, good evening. It's so nice to have you all join us. I really can't express to you and have you understand and know how much it means to know that you are here and willing to join the conversation. Nicole Streets writes, I don't like that idea, because kids need to spend more time with their parents. She writes, the schools will become the parents. She doesn't like the idea of the extended day. I was thinking that. She writes that she's speaking because she has a 7 and 5-year-old, and by the time they get home, they have very limited time to spend together. I see that. I was thinking the same thing. Nicole, let me ask you this, because so children typically get out, the school day ends typically around 3:00. We'd say maybe at the latest, if they don't have an after school program, we'd say about 3. So if the school day was extended to maybe what, I don't know. I don't know what they're proposing, but let's say that they're proposing 5. We'd say that they're
proposing 6.
They're proposing 6. Oh my, thank you, Miss Kayla J. Thank you so much. They are proposing 6. Oh, okay. So no, I don't like that at all. I don't like that. Good evening, Pastor Daniel Black. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Nicole, I'm in agreement with you. I am in full agreement, because you think the parent will get to the school, get the kids, and it takes away from what you were saying, Dr. Driver, the socialization, with them getting out at 3 now, there are programs where they get to socialize, they have an extended part of their day, and then they're able to see their parents at what would be considered, well, I think, we've gotten used to it being a reasonable hour, I'd say. But if they're in school until 6,
Maybe some pros and cons. Maybe it's an option, right, for parents that may need that additional time. But I definitely agree with Nicole that it could take away from that family time. I'm interested to see how they'll select which students are enrolled into that particular program. But I think it could be some good pros and cons for that option for some families.
And how about that, Nicole? She wrote, I can't imagine learning that long. My brain would hurt. I know that's right. She said, look, I don't want to go to school anymore. Too much school. So Dr. Z,
yes,
we started this. I shared the topic we're talking about tonight, social media. Oh, social media. I have to tell y'all right now, family, I don't have the bandwidth. First, like I'm very I don't post a lot as it is, but I haven't really had the bandwidth to even scroll. And I thought it would just be for a week or so, but it's been like a couple of months now that I just really haven't been able. It affects me emotionally. Does it affect you? I'm curious to know if how social media affects you. Sometimes it doesn't affect me positively. I don't even know what that is. I don't know why or how, but it makes me feel badly. But we're here to talk about social media, and I appreciate the comment that Nasir shared about his 3-year-old grandson. Did you hear that comment by any chance, Dr. Z?
I did. That the child was engaging in things on the internet that they couldn't even fathom or couldn't imagine seeing. Is that what I think?
Well, no, he wrote that he has to stay on top of. He said he has to keep up with what he's watching on his iPad. So he says he is on top of whatever he's watching. I was sharing that the kids in this, when the kids with whom I work, some of them come and show me things, and they think they don't know that it's not all right. They think it's okay. Well, it's on my iPad or it's on my tablet, because there's a lot being shared with our babies nowadays on social media, on the internet, period. But I have a question for you, Dr. Z, about like with children being exposed more to social media these days, because they're big on TikToking and everything else. Isn't that an extra avenue to expose them to like more online bullying?
Absolutely. Because when we think about bullying, I guess in the past, A lot of times it was just in the school, in the classroom, in one building. But now when we talk about social media and bullying, it's exposed to thousands, millions of people daily. So now we increase the bullying to cyberbullying, false rumors, name calling, pictures, explicit pictures being sent back and forth. It increases, one, the avenue in which the young people can do it. Two, it now not only is it just limited to just a building or a classroom, now we share with our friends and their friends share it. So it increases the amount of bullying that takes place daily as a result of social media.
That's just horrible. I mean, as if kids don't have enough to deal with or to work through. So now this is one. Now I'm asking because I don't know, family. So if this is a question that you think I should know the answer to, just bear with me. Y'all know I don't have any babies of my own. But so with social media, do you believe it, or do you know if it can affect the overall like lifestyle of kids, like as it pertains to like diet, exercise, and things of that nature? Are they being affected to that degree?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most common ones is sleep. As a result of young people checking their phones all day, waking up in the middle of the night as soon as they hear that ding. They're not getting the proper rest, and not getting good sleep ultimately increases the likelihood of depression and anxiety. So ultimately, social media is having a negative impact on our young people in that way. I mean, but it does have some positives, right? I know social media takes a huge hit, but it does have a negative impact on our young people.
What would you say is a good age for a parent to allow their now this, I know this is kind of general because everybody's different, but what would you say might be a good age that for a parent to allow their children access to social media?
I would say it would be case by case, and I would say that it would be around the child's maturity level and the parents' comfortability with the child. So if you are having conversations with your kids, and one of the things you shared, Carol, that I thought was good, that the young people come to you and they show you these things. So are you comfortable with your young person that they will come to you if something's not right? Or are they maybe potentially still easily influenced? And once you give them that exposure to social media, as the gentleman said on the socials, that you have to be able to monitor it as much as you can, as often as you can, because you don't know what they're exposed to. So I think I would say maybe teenage years, 13 and up would be what my ideal time frame would be. But I also think it's really contingent upon the relationship that the parent or guardian has with the child, the trust that they have with the child, and the comfortability that the child ultimately has with the parents to talk about things when they feel uncomfortable or if something doesn't seem right.
You know, that's family. I'm curious to know what you think as well. What do you think is a good age for a parent to allow their child access to social media? I'd really like to know what you think. So let us know. Let us know. You can let us know in our socials, and you can always call us. You can do so by dialing 215-634-8065, or you can call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. I always invite you to join the conversation because we love a good discussion here. We love a good discussion. Robin Dixon Young is joining us on our socials, and she writes, "Good evening." And she did write, "Yes, it is," but I'm not too sure to what that was referring. But thank you for that response. He's in the conversation too. Pastor Daniel Black is in the conversation. I appreciate that so much. So, Dr. Z, when we talk about social media and we're talking about our babies, do you think that it's a good tool for socialization, or do you think that it's purely like entertainment?
No, it definitely has the potential to be a great tool. It helps young people stay in connection with their friends. It helps individuals have support groups. It's a way for people to just communicate themselves in their own unique way. I think it definitely has some pros. I just think that it has to be monitored because our young people are vulnerable. So they're easily influenced by just about anything that they see. So I think that there are some strong benefits. It creates communities for them. It gives them their own unique identity. So yeah, I think there's some pros that could come along with that.
How do you monitor it though as a parent? How do you do that?
Well, that's a great question, Carol. And I say that because I was watching something, I think yesterday on the news, and they were saying how they have apps that hide the apps. So typically I would say you do a phone check, right? You know, one of the things I used to do when my son first started on the social medias is I would just do random phone checks, and I still do it now. But then when I saw the advertisement for the apps that hide the apps, you as a parent or as a guardian would have to be well enough to know everything that is out there. And are we really going to be able to keep up with all of that? Probably not. So the biggest thing is to have ongoing conversations with our children, talking to them, making sure that we're checking in with them. Phone checks are still important. I always say to parents, are you checking your child's phone? Check it, let them know I'm going to check it. I'm going to check it to keep you safe. There's not much we can do besides that, or just not let them have it in general. But the reality is that if they don't have it at home and they don't have it on their phones, they'll have it in school. They'll have it with their friends. So they'll still have that exposure. So it makes a big difference if we are actually just talking to our children as often as possible.
Oh, family, you hear the conversation. You hear what we're talking about. We're talking about our babies. We're talking about social media as it affects us as well and our children. So if you've just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We're going to take just a short commercial break, but we will be right back. So stay with us.
JD's Auto Body and Painting, Philly's premier paint and body shop, provides everything you need for expert auto body repairs. Car accidents are an unexpected occurrence. It's stressful, interrupts your life, and causes unexpected expenses. So let JD's professional staff and expert technicians relieve your stress and get your car back to pre-accident condition fast. Get your free estimates with 10% savings today. Call 215-848-5949. JD's Auto Body and Painting, Wayne Avenue and Washington Lane in Philadelphia, gets the job done right the first time. Expert workmanship, frame service, top-of-the-line painting, detailing, free towing, claims assistance, deductible help, and all work is guaranteed. Find out what it feels like to be a valued customer. Call 215-848-5949. Philly's leader in auto body and painting, JD's Auto. Visit JD'sAutoBodyAndPainting.com. Hey, this is Doug Henderson, and I trust my car repairs to JD's Auto Body and Painting.
Word Radio Digital Tip of the Month with Stephanie Humphrey. Brought to you by Comcast.
It's always useful to have some tips on how to make your smartphone battery last longer, and here are a couple you might not have thought of. First, closing the apps on your phone probably won't save battery life. That may have been the case with earlier technology, but today's phones are optimized for apps, and opening them from scratch actually takes more battery power than just keeping them open. If you like streaming things like music, podcasts, or movies, try downloading the content to your phone to listen offline if that option is available. Streaming from the internet uses up way more battery life than listening to something that's stored in your phone's memory. So think about using these two tips to make sure your smartphone battery lasts all day. Stay tuned to WURD for more tips and stay connected with us at wordradio.com.
Pollution from trucks is a public health crisis. Diesel-burning trucks belch dangerous levels of pollution, and communities living near ports and along freight corridors breathe especially high levels of this dirty air. But this crisis has a solution. My name is Sasan Sadat, and I work for Earth Justice. I'm working to clean up our air quality, particularly for communities that bear the burden of diesel pollution. For the sake of our lungs, our health, and our climate, the future of trucking in this country has got to be zero emissions. Until then, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
I'm Carol Riddick, the host of Love and Life. And guess what, family? I will be live. That's right. I can speak with you about the real facts and honest opinions on dating, sexual health, casual and committed relationships. Join me Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The conversations will be served on a judgment-free platter and seasoned with unapologetic realness. So join me Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
We're bringing joy and power to the people. This is Word Radio, 900 AM and 96.1 FM, WURD, Philadelphia. Celebrating 20 years of progressive Black Talk media. Streaming online at wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We're talking with Dr. Z, and we're talking about social media and its effects on us and our children. And before the break, Dr. Z was sharing that when we came back, well, actually, she shared it with me offline, but she was sharing that she wanted to offer a few protective measures. Dr. Z, I have a question for you, though, because some of our family members have questions in our socials. Would you care to answer those first?
Sure. Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know if you were going to say, wait, I might not remember, but okay. So here we, so what I'd like to do is take a moment to go to our socials to address some of the questions that are being asked. And Von Don writes, good evening. I have a question for Dr. Z. How do you handle when you are the parent who doesn't allow social media, but all of your child's friends are allowed to have it? So your child thinks that you're being unfair.
Great question. I think first and foremost, again, gauging your child's maturity level, right? Maybe because you're helping them understand that just because your friends have it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have it. But I think it's important, kind of tied into what we were going to talk about, is helping our children understand the risk of social media. What are the reasons why I want you to not be on there as of right now? What are the reasons why it may be unsafe? And what am I trying to keep you from? I think a lot of times as parents, we just say, no, you can't do it. No, it's not okay, which then causes children to maybe sneak and do it. But if I educate you and have a conversation with you around why I don't want you on here as of right now, it's not to say eventually you can't be on there, but right now, these are the things that I think I want to do to keep you safe. I think that's the first step in that, and helping understand that, maybe other children are doing that, but here's the reason why in our home that is not allowed.
That speaks to what Julie Audrey Ward Carnegie writes. Greetings, everyone. Social media beginning at age 5 on a large screen discussing do's and don'ts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was what you were talking about. And Pastor Black writes, social media can be used by the church community to communicate a positive message, which is, he's absolutely right about that too. And it's always interesting when but of course, because I'm observing parents and their children, and it's interesting to see which children have access to smartphones, smart devices, and social media, and how much access they have. Because some of our kids, I love that you said that, sitting down and talking with your child and explaining, okay, so in our household, this is the way things are done, because the children who have been given that message, they repeat it to me. well, my mom says, and then my dad says, well, this is what we do, or and they'll repeat it as was told to them by their parents. And it's the sweetest little thing, but because their parents have taken the time to do that. So I can understand that. And I've actually been witness to that. So I know that with some of our kids, they pay attention to it, and they will repeat it to you. Well, my mom or my dad says that we do this, that's for other kids.
Absolutely. And then I think too, also with that, Carol, is some of there's age guidelines for social media. So helping our kids also understand that not only are these the rules in our home, but also you may not be age appropriate according to the social media guidelines. So helping them see that it's not just me, but this is the standard that has been set by whatever social media site that they are attempting to enroll into.
I'm of course, now that I'm a big sister with the Big Brother Big Sister organization, but now I'm paying more attention because of my little and her age, when as it pertains to activities, and her mother just got her a phone. So I'm being mindful when she's in my care and in my company, what she's doing. We were going to watch a Disney movie, and she had her phone, and somebody yelled an expletive. What are you watching? And it was a YouTube video or clip or something like that. So not only did it make me gasp, but it made me think, well, because I know her mother has, her mother has almost every protective measure she could have on her phone. But even still, when I say to you, I gasped so loudly because I heard what I was hearing come from her phone. And she said, oh, no, it's nothing. I said, it was YouTube. It was, and to know that our babies have access at such a young age to so many different things, that's scary to me.
And
it's so scary.
It's so good that you said that parent is utilizing those protective measures that are on the phone, because a lot of parents don't realize that the phone does have some safety measures that we can put in place for our children, how long they're allowed to have screen time, when the phone may power down and stay on. These are things that we can attempt to do to keep our kids safe and to really just monitor the amount of usage, because social media for adults and children is addictive. So we may want them to understand that we're trying to protect them from something that they don't even realize that they need to be protected from in this moment.
One thing that I thought was good about her phone, when she first got it, she wanted to text me something. And when I went to text it back, I received a message. It stated that I couldn't text her because I wasn't in her contacts. She hadn't added me yet. I loved that. I love that feature, and I thought that was wonderful. I'm glad that they're taking measures like that they're doing things like that. But I'm curious to know too, like with social media, I know how it makes me feel sometimes. And I don't know if that's just because I'm an adult and I have all kinds of life going on, but I'm curious to know if with our kids too, if social media potentially causes them to be less social, or maybe feel differently, or even lonely sometimes. You know what I mean? Like to go through different emotions. Or I'm curious if that happens with them, if they process it that way as well.
Absolutely, because now we're decreasing the amount of times that children engage in extracurricular activities or are outside and getting natural energy from just being outside with their friends. They're not doing that. So now they're behind the screen. The blue light from the screen is now sending signals to their brains and causing them to feel overwhelmed and depressed at times. There's tons of research that supports that. And so, yes, it is impacting children psychologically, because if you look at a teen, and even not even teens, or young people, adults too, right? You can go out to a restaurant and they see everyone on their smartphones, everyone on their phone, more than they are engaging with someone else. So the amount of time that we're sitting behind the screen is ultimately impacting us psychologically as well.
This is a crazy world in which we live right now. It's so crazy. I think of how, as adults, I'll hear an adult comparing their life to the life of another adult, by what they see of that person on social media. And now, as we're talking about our kids, it makes me think, does it also affect how they perceive themselves or their lives? Or well, I guess it does. We just talked about that, because the one parent was asking, as it pertains to their child and having access to social media. So I guess it does. That. So where do we go from here with social media with our kids?
I mean, we just have to have open and honest conversations with them. We have to teach them the risk of what it is that goes on social media. We want to do our best to follow the age requirements for those social media sites as much as possible. We want to set ground rules. What is the rules, right? The rules have to be absolutely clear around what it is that we're going to allow our children to do and not do. Now, to be honest, that's a little harder if we are transparent, because that means checking the phone, like the gentleman said on Facebook, being able to check the phone more times than not. Because then if they send a message, they delete the message. If they delete the message before you see the message, it wasn't really much you can do there. But if I at least set some clear ground rules, there's one thing that I often tell parents. It's a 3-strand approach that we used to use in the training at a previous job I had. It says it should be absolutely yes, absolutely no, and absolutely clear. Absolutely yes. These are the things that you are allowed to do. Right? These are the rules and regulations within our home, but these are the things that you can do. Absolutely no says no, you can't do this. You're not allowed to be on Twitter. You're not allowed to be on social media at nighttime. And absolutely clear says, if I find out that you absolutely did the thing that I told you not to do on stand 2, then you may lose your phone. It's an automatic consequence. I think then we teach our children, listen, these are the rules and regulations that I have to follow. This is what they're expecting me to do. And if I don't do this thing, whatever it is, the ground rules that are set in my home, this is the consequence that I'll have. So children will go into social media with some level of understanding that's set for them by their parents or guardians.
So Dr. Z, I want to circle back to you saying that you had some protective measures for us. Can we talk about those?
Yeah, we kind of talked a little bit about it. Another one I would say is stay up to date on your child's settings, privacy settings. Is their page public? Is their page private? I know a lot of young people have public pages, but that's not safe, right? We want to make sure that our children know who's canvassing on their social media sites. Or when they're taking friend requests, do they know who this person is? Or are they taking the friend request because they want to increase their amount of followers? We want to make sure that we are checking their their privacy settings as much as possible. We want to look if there's any online monitoring programs. One of my mentees earlier actually sent me an app, and I don't have it in front of me, where she said, do you think this would be good for my daughter? And on that app, it allows you to see everything that is going through your child's phone through this secondary app. And so maybe that will be something that you put in place for your child to keep them safe. And just teaching them about cyberbullying. What is cyberbullying? How to know it's existing, what to do if they're experiencing it. Because unfortunately, a lot of times children don't feel like they can talk to us about what's going on in their life. So if they're being bullied on the internet and don't feel like they can talk about it at home, and then it will increase the likelihood of them feeling depressed, overwhelmed, and even suicidal. We've seen cases of young people committing suicide as a result of being bullied.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. So much. I want to take a moment now to just go back to our socials for a minute. Phyllis Williams writes, good evening, everyone. Enjoy your day and weekend. She also writes, I agree, Dr. Z. The parent should set the ground rules and not the child. Julie Audrey Ward Carnegie writes, create contents, social media creations where content is agreed. We should have recommended TV entertainment to engage children with appropriate entertainment and social media, promoting educational recommendations from knowledgeable folk, a poll moniker for children. There's just so much. I'm curious to know, family, how you monitor your child's usage, your child or your grandchildren or the children that are in your care. How do you monitor their usage on social media? Since there's, like I said, there's so much nowadays. What are some of the apps that you use? I'm curious to know that. What are some of the apps that you use to monitor their usage, and what kind of restrictions do you put on them as it pertains to, what's available to them on social media, like Instagram or Snapchat or Twitter, TikTok? Like, do you allow them access to all of those social media sites, or do you not? Do you say you can have access to this one, but not that one? Or how do you navigate that? Because there's so much out here, and I'm learning every day. There's more and more, and they keep creating different things. And and the kids, they gladly volunteer. Oh no, that's so and so and such, and they know. I don't even know how our kids know that this stuff exists. Like
yes. And you have to use that though, Carol. That's a great point. You have to use their knowledge, because one of the key ways to find out what's going on is to ask the children what's going on. They will tell you. Now, they may not say they're doing it, right? They may say, oh, my friends are doing it. And that's okay. We want that. I want to hear all about what your friends are doing if you're comfortable with sharing, because that tells me, one, what I need to do as a parent to help keep my child safe. Two, that also tells me, what is my child being exposed to? And how do I need to interact with them or get them the type of support that they need? We do ourselves a disservice by not asking the children. We can ask them. In many cases, we can't. They're funny about if we ask them what they're doing. But it's interesting, because if we ask them about what's going on around them, right? It's never them. It's always their friends. So tell me what your friends are doing. Tell me what your friends do.
That is so true, because they will tell you quickly. Well, Timmy, they will so quickly tell you. But the one thing the other thing that's interesting to me too is that they get bored so easily with other things, but not social media. They don't get bored with social media. Like, they'll tell me, oh, Miss Carol, that's old, and it'll be something that I mentioned a week ago or 2 weeks ago. But social media lives, and it lives strong with them. It's so interesting to me. Julie writes, I sit and watch various children's programs. My granddaughter has made good choices. I added good ones, not on her channel for grandchild. Well, I'm curious to know how old is your granddaughter? I'd love to know how old she is. And Nicole writes, my daughter was singing a song from my era. She said she had heard it in school. And so she said she's only 7, singing a song from her era. Listen, these babies, I went to put on Kid Bop. Kid Bop, yes, because in one of my classes. So I tell my babies, we work and then we play. That's in all of my classes. We work and then we play. I try to get them motivated to get our work done and to be focused on work. We have to do our work effectively, and not unless and until we're done, and we're done it effectively can we move on to play. So they said, well, Miss Carol, can you put on some music? Absolutely. So I put on a Kid Bop station. And when I tell you, I put this station on, and one of my babies said, oh no, that's not an appropriate song. That's not inappropriate. That's not. Well, it wasn't for Kid Bop. They changed the words to the song. Well, I took the whole playlist off because I didn't even realize. See, here we go. Not doing enough education. I didn't even realize that they'll take a song, they'll take a popular song, and then they'll change the words to it, which is a great thing. But I didn't even want the memory of the inappropriate song, so I just took it off altogether. Joey writes, peace, word, family, one love, and jazz to you. Julie writes, granddaughter is 20 years of age. Toddler grand is 4. I love that. Joanne Kemp writes, my daughter has tried to teach my granddaughter about being on the internet. She has come to her and said, I told such and such, I don't feel comfortable with this. She's 11, just even talking with kids her age. I know this whole internet thing, it's huge. And Phyllis writes, Carol, there's just so much, not only our children, but things we are exposed to on social media. That is so true. Just think if it's hard for us to change channels, can you imagine what our children are going through? I can't. Miss Phyllis, I cannot imagine what they are going through, because like I said, when my baby sister, my little, when she was looking for a movie to watch while we rode to the store, and she was looking on YouTube, And I don't know if they have, restrictions, age restrictions or what have you. But when I tell you I was mortified by the whatever popped up on her phone, I cannot imagine what is coming at our children all day, every day. And that was just one instance, And like I said, I know her mother is on top of it. Her mother is really on top of it. But so family, for those of you who are just joining us, you're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That's WURDradio.com. We are talking with Dr. ZENIDA Driver, and we're talking about social media. We're talking about the internet. We're talking about how it affects us and our babies. And we didn't even get to really into the conversation of how it affects us and what's going on with adults. Oh, my Lord. And Nicole writes, we have to protect our babies, young and old. That is the truth. That is the truth. That is the truth. So I'm curious to know, I want to switch to a conversation about adults, but I want to do that after we all take just a short breather. Okay. We're going to take a short commercial break, and then we will be right back.
Summer is just around the corner. Do you need a low-cost or free summer activity for your child? Is your teen searching for a summer job? The Philadelphia Office of Children and Families has got you covered. They've got day camps, local pools, neighborhood spray grounds, tutoring support, and more. Because it's a summer thing. Visit phila.gov/it's a summer thing or call 215-709-5366 to find low-cost or free summer activities near you.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Join Word Radio on Monday, May 29th, as we honor those who died while serving in the U.S. military and celebrate the unofficial start of the summer season. The Memorial Day mixtape features mixes from DJ Lisa Love, DJ Tactics, DJ Fatine Dantzler of Kindred the Family Soul, DJ 007, and DJ Mike City. Tune in from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. for a musical celebration you can grill to and chill to. That's the Memorial Day mixtape, Monday, May 29th from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Brought to you by Comcast, Pico, and Keystone First. What are you waiting for? If you've been enjoying the information and interviews WURD provides every day or come out to our community events, it might be time to become a member. This year marks the 20th anniversary of WURD, and there's no better time to join the forward movement. Sign up or renew your sustaining membership at just $90 or your digital membership for just $5 a month. Join online at wordradio.com/membership or pick up the phone and give us a call at 215-425-7875. Press 4 for assistance. The time to join is now.
What am I waiting for?
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. That's WURDradio.com. And we are talking with Dr. ZENIDA Driver. We're talking about social media. We're talking about the internet, and we're talking about all of it as it pertains to both adults and our babies. I want to take a moment to go back to our socials because we have a question. Von Don writes, if your child wants a social site to show off their talent because they want to be discovered as a famous dancer, how do you handle that?
That's a good question. I think if she wants the social site, first and foremost, is the parent comfortable with that? Are you okay with having your child on social media? Because that's both good and bad. You are going to get the exposure for your child, but not all exposure is always good exposure. Some people are not nice. Some people are not kind. So when you post the video or you post the picture or whatever it is that you want to be exposed around your child's dancing, what are the responses are you going to get, and will your child be exposed to those responses? And if she or he or they are exposed to those responses, how will they handle it? So I think that works if it's monitored by an adult or a child who has lots of support around them, or if the child is comfortable with managing it on their own because they're not easily influenced or won't be offended. But truth be told, everyone is offended if typically when, especially a child, if someone says something unkind about them.
I'm curious, family, before we went to the break, I was asking you all about how you navigate social media or the internet, period, with your little ones. How do you navigate it? What sites do you allow them access to? Or if you allow them access to sites, and if you do you allow them access to all of them? Do they have free range, like, just to create accounts on all of them? Or just do you say, okay, well, you can have access to this one or these two? I'm curious. Share that with us, please, because I'm curious just to know how you navigate this world in which we live as it pertains to the internet and social media. Dr. Z, one thing I was telling you, I wanted to switch our conversation over to adults. And one thing that's always challenging for me, for my mindset, is when I see adults who seek validation on social media. That's always troubling to me. But then I think of their kids as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. Do you ever does that dynamic ever come across in your office or across your path where you have, because we're living in 2023 now, and I can't imagine that there's not a conversation that you've not had with clients or with a client. Has a conversation ever come up in a familial setting about the internet, social media, and how one seeks validation?
Mm-hmm. Some people ultimately post on social media in order to get reassurance in regards to whatever their insecurity is, whether their insecurity is their body image, whether they don't feel good about themselves, whether they feel lonely, whether they just want to see how people will respond to maybe something that they're doing. People are in need of reassurance. And most times when they're doing that and they're posting these things, sometimes you'll just post because you just want to share. But the question is, why am I posting this? Is it something that I'm doing to validate something that's broken within me? And based on the responses, it helps me feel better. That ultimately is not a good recipe, because now your validation and your confidence is built on people and their responses more than is built on just you saying, hey, I want to post this because I like it, or because this is something I want to share with the world.
That's a good point. Really good point. Phyllis writes, I think if a site is offensive to you, it should not be introduced to your child. That's a good point that she made. You know what? But I see now that's tricky for me. That is so tricky because well, y'all heard me say, I told y'all a short while ago that I have had to limit my access, my association, quite honestly, with social media. And I know we have to post, but y'all, I really have not had the bandwidth. I have not. It has not felt good to my spirit. And I'm going to be honest with you. I do not like the social media life. I just don't. I don't. I don't know. I get that, a lot of the kids, they love it. They love it because they always show me stuff. Did you see this? Oh, this is cute. When I go on, I'm looking at the cute puppies and animals and whatnot. That's what I look at. I know. Now that's what they send me. So even if I want to see something that somebody else posts,
Right.
what will be in my feed is all the cute puppies and chicks and, all the little animals, which I love. So it's okay with me. But I find so much offensive about the internet and social media and insulting. There's a lot of stuff that's just too heavy for me. It's too heavy for me. I don't know how our babies manage, like how I don't know how they do it. I don't know how it's entertaining to them.
Yeah, and when we talk about that reassurance piece, I think people just really have to ask themselves, why am I posting this? What am I hoping to gain from putting this post up? Again, if I'm just posting it because I want to share it, then that's a great thing. Am I posting it because I want likes, I want comments? And then if I don't get those likes and I don't get those comments, I feel less than. I feel like this wasn't a nice post or a nice picture and I take it down. Then that may mean that there's something else going on within myself that I need to explore and I need to figure out, because I am doing my best to seek validation from social media, and that is never healthy.
It never. And what happens when you don't get validated? What happens when you post something and you're looking for, you're looking for the majority of the people who respond to it to respond positively, and they don't.
And it's so funny you say that, Carol, because we're talking about body image and just self-esteem, but you see people do it about relationships. They post and they'll share about everything that's going on in their relationship and then get all of the comments and the responses. And then sometimes it don't work out. And then maybe you come back 3 weeks later and then they're back together. You're like, well, wait, what happened? So we have to ask ourselves, are we doing this to meet an unmet need within ourselves? Or am I sharing this because this is just something that I just truly think I want to share for whatever reason?
Yeah, what's happening to us, Dr. Z? What are we doing? What are we doing? Why has this become such a necessary evil for so many people?
Because it's a great catalyst. Social media is a great tool. It's just we have now overused it in a way that is unhealthy. As the Pastor Black said, as it relates to the churches, social media is what got many churches through, right? The COVID.
Oh, yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Don't want to curse the thing of social media because it definitely has its benefits. It has its pros. It's a great, as I said earlier, it's a great community for young people and adults. But we're doing a lot on social media. We're doing maybe, I wouldn't even say more than it was intended, because I'm sure it was intended when it was created for this. But it's really consuming all of us in so many different ways.
And you're right. You know what? Let me pipe down, Slugger, because I'm over here, everything I'm expressing. I'm so sorry, family. Everything I'm expressing is just negative. I sound like negative Nelly over here. Every time I'm mentioning social media, I'm talking about, my thoughts. And you're right. There are ways in which it can be used positively. And I use it positively. So, I don't post anything negative. Yeah, I don't, right. And we're using it right here. Right. You're right. Duh. Right here. I'm telling you, I was so stuck on the negative uses of social media. I couldn't see the forest for this one tree. Look at this tree that we're on right now. What I want to do right now is take a moment. I believe one of our family members is on our phone line. Are you still there?
This is Rick calling you long distance from Germany, sis.
Rick, how are you today?
A little better, emotionally, but physically, not so good. I wanted to say that smartphone, internet phones are so powerfully addictive that I see people driving down the road in my small town looking down in their laps or looking down on the dashboard while trying to drive on a increasingly full of traffic street. I see so many people looking down and trying to drive a vehicle. And children, if they're in the car, they see their parents doing this. And they realize that this contraption, this smartphone, this access to internet must be very important. It must be akin to God. So, can you comment on that?
Would that be a question for me or Dr. Z, Rick?
Dr. Z.
I mean, you're right. Many people do feel like it's akin to God. It's they have it on their hip. They have it everywhere. It was a time when you left your phone in the house and you could go to the store, but now you walk out and you forget your phone. You're going to make a U-turn and go right back in the house to get the phone. You're right. It is, and it's so unhealthy and it's so unsafe because there's so many car accidents, right? That happened as a result of a person utilizing the vehicle, texting, or even looking at social media while they're driving. But I think, Rick, that really speaks to just the addiction when we talk about the social media piece, that people feel like I have to check my socials. I have to see who responded. I have to see who DM'd me. And they could be driving, you're right, on a major highway and still checking their socials while they're driving. And so it really, as I shared earlier, it really has impacted our thinking and our reasoning in a way that is unhealthy.
Rick, I can't thank you for calling. That brought to mind. So I was hit. Someone hit me on 95, and I was in the passing lane. It was during rush hour. Everybody's going. Traffic is moving along, but my lane had come to a stop. So to my left was a concrete median. Behind me, I see a Cherokee truck coming up, and he is flying. And as he's getting closer, I see that he's looking at his cell phone. All I could do was scream. Because he was that close to me. And he looked up just in time to see me. He did still hit me, and we both went 3 lanes over. But had he not looked up from his phone, he would not have seen me at all. So that brought to mind what you were saying, Rick, about the addiction, about people being on their phones as they're driving. It's gotten really bad. It really, really has gotten bad. I want to go to our socials for one moment. Lavonda Hudson writes, yes, to help build your business and your market, that social media can be used in positive ways. Family, I appreciate you for reminding me, because I do use it for positive ways. So I thank you for reminding me, because all I could think of, every time I started to speak about social media is about the negative uses. And especially when I think about the kids, that's what, sticks out to me first. Phyllis Williams writes, some of the children who don't have friends or too many in their lives follow lots of friends on social media. How about that? Because there are a lot of people that connect, a lot of families that connect on social media. Lavonda Hudson writes, yes, I've been volunteering as a crossing guard, and I am amazed by how many drivers are either talking on the phones, holding, or looking down at their phones. It is insane. It really is insane, the number of people that do that.
And it's sad because as much as smartphones have evolved, technology in general has evolved, right? So we have the AirPods, we have the Bluetooth, we have the watches that can read to you while you're driving. So the reality is that we really don't have to look down at our phone when we're driving or doing anything, because nowadays we have all of the gadgets that will do it for us. But again, it's something about that, just having that phone in my hand and looking at it, that creates this sensation and addiction for many people.
It's insane. Before we go to commercial break, I'm going to share with you the gentleman that hit me. He said, oh, don't worry. Now, my car, neither one of us could drive our cars. He said to me, oh, don't worry. This is just a little bit of damage. It's probably won't be any more than like $1,200, $1,600 to get that fixed. I can give you that. Sir. Sir. I couldn't even speak. Sir. That's all I was. Sir. Neither one of us could drive our vehicles away from the scene. That's how badly I was hit.
Wow.
Okay. But in any event, the world in which we live right now, and all I could think in that moment was, you are oblivious. You are oblivious to what just happened. You could have killed us both. and other people as well. But yeah, so family, before I get all caught up and start sharing, because y'all know I have stories galore. I have a ton of stories about everything. But if you have just joined us, you are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We are talking with Dr. ZENIDA Driver. We're talking about social media. We're talking about the internet and its effect on all of us, young and old. And seasoned, I'll say, because some may say I'm not old. So young, old, and seasoned. How about that? You can join the conversation either on our socials, or you can do so by calling us. You can call us at 215-634-8065, or you can call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. Phyllis writes, if you lose your phone, it's like losing your best friend.
That's true, Phyllis. Phyllis, I agree with you. I suffer from that part of the addiction. You done lost your friend, your business, everything.
Wait, that's the truth though. I can't deny it, Phyllis. I cannot deny, because everything is in my daggone phone. Every single thing is in there. Okay. It is my it's almost an appendage. And she writes, glad you weren't hurt. Thank you. Thank you so much. Family, stay with us because we're going to take a short commercial break, but we will be right back.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Need a minute? Take a breath and breathe in positivity. Here are words of joy and empowerment from Word Radio.
To Black Women by Gwendolyn Brooks. Sisters, where there is cold silence, no hallelujahs, no hurrahs at all, no handshakes, no neon red or blue, no smiling faces, prevail. Prevail across the editors of the world who are obsessed, self-honeying, and self-crowned in the seduced arena. It has been a hard trudge with fainting, bandaging, and death. There have been startling confrontations. There have been tramplings of monarchs and of other men. But there remain large countries in your eyes, shrewd sun, a civil balance, the listening secrets, and you create and train your flowers still. I'm Delilah Wilson Scott.
This joy and empowerment vignette was brought to you by Comcast.
Music is my heart and soul. It's more precious than gold. Turn on some music.
This June, we celebrate Black Music Month and the 50th anniversary of hip-hop with an insightful and entertaining event. Join us for a Message in the Music, Friday, June 16th from 8 p.m. until 11 p.m. at World Cafe Live, 3025 Walnut Street. This event features a panel discussion on hip-hop as a soundtrack to inspire or incite, a live music trivia game show with prizes, a cipher, and an open mic. Our featured panelists include Dr. Aaron Smith, Tame, Queen Joe, Deanna Williams, and Ursula Rucker. If you love music, have opinions about the state of hip-hop, want to test your musical knowledge, or want to show off your talent, then join us Friday, June 16th from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. at World Cafe Live. Admission is $20 in advance and $25 at the door. For more information, visit wordradio.com/Black Music Month.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We are talking with none other than Dr. ZENIDA Driver, and we're talking about the internet. We're talking about social media. We're talking about its effect on adults and on our children. We've been talking about everything, quite honestly, tonight. I want to let you know that I do want the conversation to continue about the anniversary of George Floyd's death. I'm mixing apples with oranges here, but if you missed the beginning of the show, we were talking about the anniversary of George Floyd's death. And I posed the question. I asked if you felt there had been changes at all. And if you felt there had been, were they for the better or for the worse? Or do you feel that things stayed the same? I'm curious to know where we are and where you feel like we're going. And I do want to continue that conversation tonight, tomorrow, and next week. Well, we won't talk tomorrow. I forget my days sometimes. But next week, I definitely want to continue that conversation because I feel like we have, so far to go. But if we just get it moving and stay on the course, then maybe we can get to where we're trying to go. So in any event, like I said, I'm mixing apples with oranges, but I felt like I needed to come back to that because it means so much, quite honestly. It means so much. And when, like I said, when I read that headline, it stung me. It really stung for a moment because I have to be honest, even myself, like I said, I signed up for 3 different initiatives. And in the beginning, we were meeting regularly, via Zoom, of course, or via the internet, virtually. And then everything just stopped. So, I dropped the ball myself in that regard. So I'm curious to know where you see us heading in the effort to make change. So coming full circle, coming back to our conversation, Dr. Z, talking about the internet and social media. So what can you offer us as a suggestion as adults, as well, quite honestly, for adults, for those of us that you feel might have an issue with social media? Or might have, I'll say, addiction, an addiction. Let me bring that full circle because that was a loaded question. That was so general. What would you offer, or what could you offer as a suggestion to those of our family members who might be kind of addicted to social media?
So the first thing in any addiction is we got to accept the fact that we may be addicted, right? That we actually may have a problem. We have to accept that. And we have to probably give ourselves evidence to prove that we have a problem. So one of the things I appreciate about the iPhones is you could go in here and we can see how long we spent on social media and online, right? And one of the rule of thumbs that I think is important is if I spend more time on social media and online just perusing than I spent doing other more meaningful things, I may addiction. So if I'm online and it's benefiting my business, as I heard the caller Lavonda say, or if I'm learning something, a new craft, and I'm trying to educate myself and I'm working in groups, social groups that gives me that exposure to learn more, that's probably okay. Not probably, it is okay. However, if I'm just on checking sites and seeing what my friends are doing and commenting on posts, that's time that it's necessary because that does allow you to stay engaged, but there's also time we could be using for something else more productive. So I think that first we have to ask ourselves, how much time are we spending? If I'm not spending that time, how do I feel? You said something earlier, Carol, about being on there and how it made you feel. If you're not on there, are you going through withdrawal? Are you struggling? Is it like bothering you on the inside? Then that we need to recondition our mind to understand that I don't need to be on social media as much as I do. But if I'm on here with a purpose, that makes sense. If I'm just on here, that may not be as healthy and beneficial for us.
Yeah, it's gotten bad for me. I feel great not being on social media, but I have to talk to myself and say, okay, come on now. You got things to do. Because like you said, and like some of our friends to the show have said and have stated and have typed, you can use social media for some positive purposes. So, and I do. But I'm telling you, it just feels like a weight to me. Social media feels like a weight. I'll say that. Social media feels like a weight. But y'all know I got issues. Listen, I'm a work in progress, okay? I'm a work in progress. I'm trying to work it all out.
The addiction initially was Instagram, and now TikTok is the newest addiction. Everybody loves TikTok. TikTok is TikTok University. Let me ask TikTok.
You know what? It's so sad. I'll tell you that the TikTok, at one point, TikTok was a channel for me. I was just being entertained by everybody's TikTok. I've never created one, but I was so entertained by everybody else's TikToks. It's sad. And then someone said to me, well, no, you can use TikTok for information, like you just said. Let's ask TikTok. And I did not know. I have not done that yet, but that apparently that is a big thing.
You can.
Yes, that they say.
I had a friend say, she was like, let me check TikTok University for that recipe. I'm like, huh? But it's and now that's the new addiction, TikTok. So it's always something, and it's okay. I don't want it to seem like it's not okay. It's okay to have these outlets. It's okay to have social media connections and places to go to look up things. It's just asking ourselves two questions. If I'm posting, why am I posting this? And then two, asking myself, how much time did I spend on here today? Is there anything else more productive that I could have done in my day besides stay on TikTok?
Family, I hope that you weren't like I was. I would get into bed, be ready to shut down before I got to my book, because I'd like to read. And in the evening, I would go on TikTok and I'd spend a good amount of time. That would be my little entertainment before. That would be like the wind down before the wind down. So I hope that's not you. But in any event, family, I hope that joining us tonight was just the perfect cherry on top to the day that you've had. I hope you're having, this is an extension of a good day for you. I want to thank Dr. Driver for joining us, and Dr. Driver is going to come back and talk with us about a lot more things on other days. We've got a whole lot to discuss, So she will be joining us again, won't you, Dr. Driver?
I will. Yes, I will.
Thank you so much. I want to extend my gratitude to all of our family members who reached out to us on our socials. Phyllis responded about George Floyd. She writes that it brought us awareness of the problem. It was really sad. It brought us awareness of the problem to avoid it to escalate. There's been a small change, but not very much. Joey Dixon writes, peace. Pastor Black, he writes, that was an excellent presentation. Thank you so much. Phyllis also writes, enjoyed your show, Carol, Dr. Driver. Also, my comments on Facebook, have a blessed night and weekend to everybody. Thank you so much. Nasir, Miss Lily, thank you to our callers, Ron, Miss Lola, Maurice, Miss Audrey, to Rick. Thank you for your contributions to the conversation, to Nicole Streets, to Pastor, to Robin Dixon Young, to Von Don for your contributions as well. I'm trying to remember everybody and to get everybody's name in. Robin Dixon Young writes, Dr. Z, well done. As always, she writes, family, you know what I say. As after I thank you for your continuous support to Love and Life, when I express my gratitude, I want you to know that I appreciate you. And I'm going to tell Aunt Patty of all the love that she received from the WURD family. I will tell her tomorrow, first thing. And also, Dr. Z, as I say, our special thanks to you. We know that you will be joining us again, but thank you for sharing your time, your energy, your space, your knowledge, and your attention with us. Additional thanks to Joey Parham, as always, for assistance. Thank you also to the entire WURD family, and my gratitude to Miss Kayla J. And Niall Jax for all that you do. Family, I'm going to say it because I say it every single night. We're all in this together. You hear me, y'all? We are all in this together. So be good to you, but be good to those around you. Have a good night, Miss Lily. Have a good night, Dirty Clean. So have a good night, Phyllis. Have a good night, Robin, Joey, Pastor, everybody. Nasir. Did I forget Raphael? Have a good night to you too, Raphael. I don't want to forget you. Have a great night, everybody. And be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. for another edition of Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Have a good night, everybody.
Join Word Radio on Monday, May 29th, as we honor those who died while serving in the U.S. military.